I took away two things from this episode. One is that Jonah has been turned into a freaking menace, bro. He is going to destroy his family if it's the last thing that he do. Because not only is he not working with the enemy, but he is upfront with it. He don't care what anybody else is talking about. Like literally, like every interaction that he has with his mom is hilarious because literally she's just looking at the reflection of herself. It's the 52nd episode. That's crazy, bro. That's a whole freaking year. It's a whole freaking year of like, well, as far not a whole year as far as days, but as far as weeks, there's been an episode every week for a complete year, bruh. That's insane. But it's like it's happening at like the most weird time because literally like I feel like nothing really happened this week. Like nothing super crazy. As far as like drops, other than like Ozark, obviously, but that's part of like today's episode. But I'm ready to get into this thing, bro. Welcome back to the Why I'm Geeked show, man. This is episode 52 of them things, bro. And today's episode we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. We're gonna be talking about Ozark. We're gonna be talking about our regular schedule recap for all our shows. But I was sitting there trying to think of like a title for this episode, and the thing I came down to was like just money moves, because it's just like I've been watching Ozark. I watched the first couple episodes of it, and I even put out a poll because I thought I was gonna binge it this weekend. Like I thought I was gonna be done with it by now, but I don't know what it is about certain shows where it's like, like as much as I want to watch it, I don't want to because I don't want it to end, right? But I'll get into that a little bit later, man. Let's get into the news. Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to say was that the Legend of Vox Machina is dropping next week, and we're going to start getting more movies coming out next week as well. I believe Uncharted is about to come out next month. I think that's the next big movie that's supposed to happen. I haven't really gone to the movies in a minute ever since like the whole Omicron joint, but as far as like what's been dropping, it hasn't really been like the year is kicked up for TV shows, but not necessarily for movies just yet. But I'm still super excited for all this stuff to drop. But Legend of Vox Machina is based off of, or is a story around the Dungeons and Dragons game that happens on Twitch called Critical Role, and it's like their first or second campaign. I'm not completely sure. I think it's the first one. Like it's their first campaign on Twitch, I believe. But basically, they take what they did on Twitch and they put it and made it into an animated series. They've been doing like comics and stuff, but now it's got picked up on Amazon Prime as a actual animated show. So that's gonna come out next week. They already have like maybe one or two episodes, like as far as like teasers that's out that you can like watch. It's not super long, but you can watch it and get a understand like what it's gonna be. I'm just excited because it's just like creator like made in a sense. Like yes, they're all like professional like voice actors, but like it's not them. It's not like some big studio or something directing it versus like creators creating what they already did, and it's like they've been dropping content on it like all throughout the week. So I'm super excited for that to come on. I'm probably going to talk about that when it really actually starts dropping. And then we also got the main topic of today, which is Ozark dropped. So I actually put out a poll if I was wondering if people were like actually going to binge it, because I was conflicted, like I said before, if I was going to do it or not. But I decided I'm going to take my time with it, bro, honestly, because first of all, it says part one. You know what I'm saying? So there's obviously going to be a second part to it. But I don't know. I don't know why they started doing that. I don't know if this is like a new thing. But like Ozark and Attack on Titan. Like they're bringing out these like final seasons or finale seasons, but they're making it part ones out of it. I'm like, why make it up? Why not just say season 4 and then do season 5? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the difference? I don't understand. Um, but that's pretty much it for the news, man. Let's get into the weekly recap. All right, so first thing I want to talk about this week is Boba Fett. Boba Fett had another pretty good episode. This was an episode that obviously, we go into the past of, Boba Fett, and we start to learn like a little bit more about like his time after the Tuskens, right? And now he's trying to get his shit back, and he found Fennec, and it's like we get to see the start of their whole friendship or partnership or whatever you want to call it. And it was a good episode, not only because we got to see Boba Fett get revenge when he hit that drive-by on them Raider youngins, but it was cool to see how Boba Fett not only respected Fennec but also like understood that what his goals are now are different than what they were initially. Like he's tired of being the one that gets done dirty or backstabbed or whatever, because whoever is his partner or his boss or whatever, whoever hired him, you know what I'm saying, doesn't tell him the finer details, or like gets him stuck in a predicament where he's risking his life and he shouldn't even have to. So like he wants to flip the script basically, and that's how we got to the point we are now in the story with Fennec and Boba Fett, you know what I'm saying, taking over Tatooine. So we got to see just like how their whole thing worked out, and then we also got a meeting of the minds, which was like all the different families on Tatooine. They got together and basically Boba Fett let them know like, yo, I'm finna go to war with this the Pike Syndicate, and all I'm asking is for y'all to not choose sides, right? Like don't do me dirty here. Like I know that like the Pikes have been, not the most gracious partners in whatever business each one of these families has with them. So if y'all let me continue to do what I gotta do, I could take them out for all of us, and we can all do what we gotta do, right? So that was a cool thing, because like the whole thing that Boba is going to win people over with respect versus fear, that's starting to play in now. But I still think that with him starting to show mercy to people, right? With characters like Black Chrysanthemum, I think that's going to be super important, because they don't necessarily make things official as far as like, Black Chrysanthemum is working with Boba now, but he's present in the meeting, right? And it could be a thing where it's like, okay, as soon as I think that I've repaid my debt, I'm out, or it could be like a continued thing, which I think it'll end up being. But having a Wookiee there is always cool, because it allows you to like have some sort of like, not necessarily a surprise, but it's like an X Factor type thing. So I think that this episode was like very, very important. But I don't know if they all going to be able to hold up their end of the bargain, right? Because it's easy to say now that like, nah, we won't interfere. But as soon as that joint start hurting your pockets, when you gotta like, maybe look the other way when Boba is doing something that the Pikes might not like, and then the Pikes come at you crazy, that might be when we start to see some deception or something else going on. And then we also still don't know where the mayor's at. The mayor's off world, most likely with the Pikes, but we don't know how much his influence is really going to impact us, or impact them, I should say. But I really like the direction that Boba Fett is going, because it's like, at first I thought the flashbacks weren't going to be super like useful, I guess. because it's something that can definitely get repetitive. But every flashback so far has been, kind of prudent to the episode, so I don't really mind it. As long as it makes sense in context with what's going on. I think that the actual, flashback moments in the beginning of the episode, most of the time, is something that's I'm like, all right, I'm cool with. I just don't necessarily feel like we got to see him get out the tank every time. Like, we get that this is like his memories or whatever, but we gotta find that man a real bed. You know what I'm saying? Because they say he's fully healed now, so he might not need that joint no more. But it's just like a little weird to see that every single time. But next up, Peacemaker, bro. Peacemaker. We finally got to see not only what a butterfly is, but we got more information on like what this whole butterfly situation is, right? And this episode was heavy because it was a lot of like characters kind of not only just manipulating each other, but at the same time like tugging on heartstrings as far as like what their purpose is for this team and like why they're there. So that was a cool thing to see. But it did get to a point where I was kind of like, bro, I don't really care like that much. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these characters, like I really only care about 3 characters, right? No, well, maybe 4, but it's like 8 of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's half. But maybe I'll start caring a little bit later. But more so, it's just the fact that it's like, like they're all kind of working through issues while simultaneously trying to stop a butterfly invasion, but at the same time the butterflies are in charge of the mission of killing the butterflies. It's weird, bro. It's weird because the main boss, I forgot his name, but Amanda Waller 2.0, whatever you want to call it, is a butterfly. So it's what's good, y'all? I am pausing this video to let you guys know that we officially have a Patreon. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is a Patreon? Well, let me lay it out for you. Basically, our Patreon is called the Donatoverse. And in the Donatoverse, you have the opportunity to not only get early content, but also get exclusive Patreon only videos where we're discussing your favorite fandoms and also having dope conversations, bringing all of our communities across the whole metaverse, right? Because that's a thing now, and dropping it all in one place. Now there are 4 different tiers that you can join. I don't care which one you choose, just know that your support is greatly appreciated. So tap in with us, Patreon.com/Donato, and let's get back to the video. Weird to see because it's like, when did it happen, for one? And then also, like, how do they not know that he's a butterfly if they're all being tracked? You know what I'm saying? It's a weird conundrum to be left off with, because that was the major cliffhanger at the end, right? Was that Buddy was a butterfly, right? But we also know that Peacemaker still had the other butterfly. So is it something where like the butterflies can leave and go as they wish, or is Amanda Waller pulling our strings again, and really instead of stopping the invasion, what I'm saying, we're kind of helping it? I don't know where I kind of land on this. But the fact that there's so many of them, it's like literally anybody could be one, and the only way to really tell is to see when they eat dinner. That's it, so I don't know. It's weird. And it's also because these people don't know each other enough to really be able to discern like who is who in a sense. But I feel like his name is Mern, but I feel like he's really the only one that never really seemed human, like off E. And I'm not saying that in the sense of like, he doesn't look human, but in the sense of like, like he doesn't really have emotions like that, or like I can't say doesn't have emotions, but he is very uh abrasive, I guess. You know, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I stand with that, but I think I think that seeing Peacemaker having to deal with his, a lack for a better word, daddy issues in a sense, I think that was insightful. I think seeing Amanda Waller's daughter manipulate Vigilante to go try to kill Peacemaker's dad was like a cool thing that happened, but I didn't necessarily know if they was actually trying to do that until they said it. Because I was like, like she just really put that idea into his head, but I didn't know that was part of the plan or not. And it turns out that was just improv, which, well, not improv, but like improvisation from that actual character, not, literal improv. But that also shows like the Amanda Waller genes that's in her. And I gotta remember her name. But it's tough. It's tough when you start a new show, and it's like, dang, it's not really like I've been watched it, so it's not really fresh in my mind about it. But I gotta be better about that in my notes. But I digress. So let's get to the main topic of today, man. Ozark. Even though I've only watched a few episodes, I feel like I've watched the whole movie, right? Because so much happens within one episode, and also like the first episode is kind of jarring because it's like, like it's been a long time since I didn't even thought about Ozark. So trying to remember exactly, where the alliances lay, remember who characters are. Like the recap was helpful, but at the same time it was mad confusing because of the way they was like time skipping, right? So I just think that the second episode wasn't really like bad because by that time we were back in the mix. But the first episode was like, I do not understand what's going on right now. But I think that, I took away two things from this episode. One is that Jonah has been turned into a freaking menace, bro. He is going to destroy his family if it's the last thing that he do. Because not only is he not working with the enemy, but he is upfront with it. He don't care what anybody else is talking about. Like literally, like every interaction that he has with his mom is hilarious because literally she's just looking at the reflection of herself. Everything that he does, from the gaslighting to like the not necessarily manipulation, but like just the rationalization of like what's going on. Like that attitude is like, like this is what's happening, bro. Like I don't care what you got going on. Like we need to make this work, right? Because this is just what I want to do, like. And she keeps going back to like, like I know you hate us. I know that you're still mad about Ben, which is his uncle that got murked in the last season by his mother, basically. So like she's like, I know you are mad, but it's like it's not even a thing of mad, bro. Like it's way deeper than that. And I don't think that she's connecting it because she keeps like relaying the same thing back and forth. Whereas like Marty is looking at him like as like kind of like a proud father because he's like doing the thing that Marty could never really do, which was stand up to his mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yes, later on, Marty was like has been like straight up with her and like basically like cut all love ties or whatever towards her. But for the sake of the family, you know what I'm saying? Like he's still doing what he got to do, but like the emotion there is cut, is clipped. You know what I'm saying? So to see that, like like them have a moment in the second episode where Jonah tells them that he wrote his own software to do like the money laundering, but he's gonna be doing it for the farmer lady, and then like hearing his mom freak out because it's like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to get out. Like, you're digging yourself in a bigger hole and you're helping somebody that's not on our team anymore. Like, what are you doing? And he's just like, bro, I'm doing the same. Like, and basically, he's like, I'm doing what I want to do because I know I can, and you're not gonna stop me, you know. And then, like, the fact that he not only built his own software but knows how to do everything, like, he's a freaking genius for one, but also Marty's proud of him because it's like, yo, like, dang, like, that he's starting to see the part that's of him that's in his kid, in a sense. Like, that's what I got from it, and it was just like a weird thing. I was like, yo, like, he's actually proud of him, and I was like, that's crazy, you know, because it's like Jonah is in the between a rock and a hard place, because yes, he's like kind of punishing his family, but at the same time, he's like kind of only doing what he knows how to do and trying to navigate this whole world, because at any moment it could all get taken away. So it's just like, yo, like, I might as well make something out of it in a sense. But, you know, it's still wild that it's even happening. And then the second thing that I got from, you know, so far from this is that the freaking boss, bro, like the drug lord or whatever, this man, like, forever has some unrealistic goals, bro. And he's just like so used to just getting everything he wants that it's just like, it's making for such a good story, because it's like, I don't know how they're going to pull this off, bro. Like, I don't know how that he's going to be able to get away from the whole business clean, set his family up, and still not go to jail, you know, like, and just be clean to be able to travel, you know, back and forth through to the U.S. and, you know, not even have to worry about, you know, getting picked up or whatever. Like, how you go from being on the FBI's most wanted list to just being like, you know, not necessarily on their payroll, but like get a deal of the lifetime. You know, it's not like back in the day, you know, like there's literally cameras everywhere. So it's just like, how are they going to finesse this? I really don't understand. And then on top of that, you got his nephew, who is like on a rampage. Like, he really like just wants to be the boss, and it's one of the characters from Queen of the South, one of the really good characters from the Queen of the South that just got murked off in the last season. So it's like, dang, he just got picked up. So that's even better, because I know he's a really good actor. I'll figure out his name next time I talk about the show, because I'm sure he's gonna get more and more into the mix. But like, you know, you got him as the X Factor that was somebody prior, like maybe Helen, who was like, you know, the person that was like, yo, I'm about to come here and ruin your life again. Like, every time they started, like, you know, getting back on track, or in the sense of like, you know, starting to feel like, yo, they can finally get the head above the water a little bit, like, she's back there and dunks him right back in the water. And that's what I feel like the nephew's role is going to be in this season, because obviously he doesn't trust Marty, and also he wants to take over his uncle's business. And if he ever found out that his uncle's trying to leave the business and basically, you know, stop it, or, you know, basically like get rid of everything and just go out scot clean, he's going to try to murk his uncle. He's going to take over. So it'll be even crazier if that happens. I don't know necessarily if that is going to be the case, because that seems kind of like straightforward. I'm looking for more of a twist, because I honestly don't really know how you can really end Ozark unless everybody get murked. Like, I don't even know how, you know, like, they like the mother is trying to set up this foundation to, you know, make sure like after this, like, they'll be good as a family. But there's no way you just like can just snap and just be good, you know. Like, they're in way too deep, bruh. And for them to like, and they're talking years, like the deals they're making is like years in advance, but like they're trying to expedite it into a year. It's gonna be wild, bro. So I'm excited to see that. And then once I found that out and figured out that this is only part one, that also had me excited, because it's like, okay, now they don't have to rush this, right? If this was just season 4 and they were saying it was it, I'll be expecting at least like close to 30 episodes. like in this one season. But Netflix usually doesn't have seasons that's that long when it's like a Netflix show. So seeing that as a part one, even though it still doesn't really make that much sense to me, why not make it just season 5? I don't know. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy, but yeah, it has me super hyped, bro, for sure. But that joint is still like a crazy plan to even have, bro. The next thing I want to talk about is Demon Slayer. So Demon Slayer has been turning up for the last 3 episodes, bro. Ever since they started this fight with the lower 6 and finding out that not only one person but 2 brother and sister demons, like everybody has been leveling up from Nezuko to Tanjiro, and now that not only the Hashira is fighting with them, but also like the Hashira has to level up too. And I'm just like, I don't know if losing another Hashira is the answer right now, because losing Rengoku initially was like a major blow to the show and to the characters, right? So I'm feeling like they have to come out on top. And the dude said that he's not like really affected by poison, which I think is cap, but he probably has some type of resistance, right? And he also had the antidote, but he gave that away. But the antidote didn't really look like it helped that girl. It looked like she was still struggling. I don't know. I have to wait and see. But this was like just a fighting episode. Like that's all that's really happened is that they still fighting, and the demons has actually leveled up. So it's like now they're fighting 2-on-1, with Tanjiro and Hashira fighting the main body, or the brother body, and then Inosuke and I feel like his name is not Zenitsu, but it's something like that. I still not clicking, bro. It's still not rememberable. And then the lower 6 demon that was the original youngin, or shorty that they was originally fighting, that turned into 2. Because like the whole thing about this episode was like, yo, like we have to cut their heads off at the same time. That's the only way that they're actually gonna die, which is a cool thing to add, because this is the first time we done seen that in the show. Usually once you actually cut off a demon's head, they start to like actually disintegrate, right? But that's not necessarily the case, and they finally was able to get like real contact in this episode with the main youngin, with the size, like the mini size, and it's cool to see that, because it's like, yo, like not only are they like polar opposites, like, yo, like she's beauty and he's like not, it's cool to see their powers kind of intersect, because now they're talking about how in sync that they can be with their attacks versus the rest of the Demon Slayers, and the Demon Slayers are starting to get that timing together, which is cool. And everybody's kind of like acknowledging each other, so they're still like leveling up with every episode. But yeah, that prior to this, it was just a Nezuko show, but now Nezuko's a little baby again, and she's like, even though she literally leveled up, she's like back in the box. So it's gonna be crazy. This is a freaking long night, bro. Like I thought the sun would have been up by now, but time is not moving slow, or it's not moving fast. But Demon Slayer is freaking dope, bro. It's way better than I could have imagined initially, because I thought that like the movie was kind of like peak Demon Slayer, but they've kind of kept up that energy. I can't even cap with this new season. Like they kept that same energy with it, so I'm super excited about that. The last thing I wanted to talk about for the weekly recap is Attack on Titan, which I won't spend that much time on, because this was like a heavy episode, but at the same time it wasn't, because The only thing that really happened that was super interesting was we got to see Aaron's true intentions, right? Which was never really to go along with Zeke's plan, which is a front that he's been putting up this whole time for like the last, like, I don't know how long. Like we all really thought that Aaron went crazy, but really he was just trying to get access to the founding Titans power and the world Titans power, and one to actually create the world that he felt it should be, and it didn't hit me as hard as I thought it was going to initially. Once I found out, okay, what is Aaron really like bad? Like, is he really going to turn into the villain? So to find out that it was truly just all a front, and for him to get hoodwinked, not even just him, to get hoodwinked by Zeke, basically put him in a genjutsu and got him to spill the beans on how he truly feels, was insane. But it's not as insane as Gabby shooting Aaron's head off. That was ridiculous, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, she really shot a bear at 50 cal, bro. Like, and yes, she knocked herself out, so that makes a lot more sense. But to get to this moment in this show, I thought it would feel different. I'm gonna be real, and maybe it's just gonna take more explanation and really seeing if, like, is Aaron really dead versus like is his head gonna grow back, or are we just literally out of luck now? Because like most of the talk between Zeke and Aaron has happened in the little dream world. And I don't know. I'm kind of more confused than anything. I think by the episode, so I might have to look at it again to really get an understanding of like, so what's going to happen now, right? Because with Zeke's whole plan is all about like euthanization, so that no more Titans are born, right? And not only are no more Titans born, but that will basically make them kind of like cease to exist in a sense, and then they'll have the power because now they'll have the rumbling. But I don't know, bro. I'm real conflicted because I don't really trust none of these guys. Like, I know they saying something, but it's just like, bro, until I really see it, it's like, yo, like, their word can mean nothing. Like, it really means nothing at this point. But I don't know. I'm curious to see how y'all feeling after that episode, bro, because I'm still kind of like processing it, I feel like. But that's pretty much it for the weekly recap, man. Let's get into the filler arc. All right, y'all. So I feel like the reset is finally beginning, and I'm like, it's 24 days. We 24 days into January, like, and I finally feel like it's happening because I don't know what it is about the initial New Year that it's like, yo, like, that first week is like super hype, but then it's like, yo, like, can I really do this? Can I really do all the goals I'm set out to? And then I had like a little lull moment, like over the last week, where I was kind of like restructuring a lot of things. Like, I started the process, right? And now I feel like I'm finally like attacking it in the sense of like my goals. And just things that I want to do. And I like another reason other than like Ozark to name this episode Money Moves is because it's like, yo, like, it's starting to really become a thing. Like, it's always been a thing, right? Like, I've always like invested in myself, but it's starting to become a thing where it's like, yo, like, I'm really trying to map out how all this is going to work. And because it's something I'm gonna do regardless. But it's like, yo, like I'm looking into getting like new cameras, right? I'm looking into like, all right, once I get this, what's that next step to continue to make the content not only better, but to evolve it. And then it comes down to like, okay, I gotta also evolve as a creator as well. So like one thing I'm working on right now is kind of slowing down when it comes to my commentaries and trying to use like less likes, like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, less, you know what I'm saying? Less filler words. And it's not gonna happen overnight, but I've already I went back and looked at some of other stuff, like from way back, and it has gotten like a lot better, right? But I want to make more direct content, and I'm figuring out how to do that in the best way possible. So it's just like a moment of like new beginnings and new and resets. And that's one thing about like goals and resolutions. Like, you don't have to wait for them, right? And I know I'm saying this is still early, but like, you can literally start now. Like, just flip the switch, and it won't be instant, right? But you can start making those decisions and making those moves now, so that like it can pay off in the future, right? So but also at the same time, like, I don't want to say keep it quiet necessarily, because look, I'm here talking about it, but I'm not being specific with anything. Just know that it's like I'm working on it. But because like, you also don't want to get into that mode. It's like, yeah, like I said I was gonna do this, but like I ain't do it, so now I'm gonna be sad. Like, nah, like we ain't got time for that, bro. Like, focus on what is actually the actual goal, and then everything else will start to fall in place. But that's where I'm at with it. As far as like a Game of Thrones update, they finna go to war, bro. They finna go to war. The Starks versus everybody. Gang, gang. That's all I gotta say. But Game of Thrones is wild, bro. And I'm really starting to appreciate the show, and I understand why Youngins was really like on it, because the actual game has started. You know what I'm saying? The king is dead, and now we're gonna see who's really about to take power. And I just really like it. And it's hard to watch that while also like trying to keep up with everything else that's coming out now. Like, I gotta watch Snowfall before that new season comes out, because I want to be able to stay up to date with that. And there's a new show called Grand Crew. That's another show that's on like my little list or whatever. But I got a lot that I want to talk about, you know. And that's not including like Marvel stuff and stuff. I said and stuff. It's not including Marvel and DC stuff as well. So we'll see. We'll see what's good. But that's pretty much it. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode, man. If y'all did, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, rate the podcast 5 stars, leave a comment, let me know what's good. I'm gonna holler at y'all in the next one, man. Y'all be easy, you know the vibes. Always concurrency going to me, boy G. Peace.